Hey, I've been just got my Surface Pro 3 and I got a little extra time, so I wanted to show off how I use it. And I have my Surface Pro 3 here. It's the i7 model with the 512 SSD, 512 gig SSD. I just got the standard type cover. Been alright for transportability. Not really great at the desk, but it's alright. Got my Anchor gaming mouse that I keep hooked up because it's great for what I do. Got a little $7 Walmart fan back here, just for additional cooling, because I do run this like a desktop, so I figure I have to cool it like a desktop. Running my Nixius high resolution monitor. It's fairly cheap off Amazon for a great quality monitor. This is just HP monitor that I stole from the last drafting computer we had. It's a little retired, a little bit. It's a little bit more than a little bit of storage, but that's pretty much all it is now. Anyway. Many people challenged me when I said I was going to get a tablet to run CAD, and this is what I do with it. First thing I'm going to introduce you to is this Intel Extreme Tuning Utility tool. It's been a great help when showing me what this tablet can and can't do. The biggest thing to concern yourself with is the CPU temperature. Everyone complains about the CPU temperature on these, and it turns out that it turns off at about 194 degrees Fahrenheit. It really starts to throttle and a bunch of bad stuff. That's when the thermal throttling goes up and the power limit throttling turns on as you're going through it to avoid the thermal throttling, because the power limit throttling is pretty significant, but it is less significant than the thermal throttling, because the thermal throttling can go up to somewhere in the 80% range, whereas the power limit throttling is going to stay in the 40% range. Up here on my big high-resolution monitor, my favorite one, I have an Inventor file, Autodesk Inventor. Can't really do it with the phone, but I'll show you what it does as I'm manipulating it. Down here, I can rotate it and do a few changes, do a few modifications to the part for a fairly long time, and not a whole lot of thermal anything. CPU usage does go up, but that's mostly because of the graphics card, the way it steals from the CPU's power and such, the way the integrated graphics card with Intel works. It's not really a problem with CAD. It's a holdback, I'd say, but it's not really a big issue. It's not a hill I'd die on. Anyway, I keep that going, and I pretty much always keep my music player going. It's just streaming Amazon Prime, and I've been getting my Dropkick Murphys in because it's 2:14 in the morning, and turns out either you lock coffee or loud music to stay up. So that's what we're doing. I don't really use Inventor much for my current position, but I do use it for a lot of my personal projects that I like to mess around with. So I am going to switch over into AutoCAD, just the basic LT, which is my native software, and open up a big file on that and show you what it does in that. It is now starting up the Autodesk AutoCAD 2015. It does take a little bit, but it's not super processor intensive. It's pretty much just the fact that AutoCAD takes time and throttles itself to load. Right now I have a 5-page total document up. It's just the most recent one I've been working on, so it's the one I pulled up. So you have my cover page, and I have 1, 2, 3, and then 4 main pages. I do things somewhat inefficiently with what I do, but I do keep everything on one page. I got one of my pages here, one of my pages here, page here, and page here, and then the rest of this is all area that I manipulate. Anyway, I can take stuff and copy it, all with the use of one hand through my nifty mouse. I can move everything around pretty good. If you've ever used CAD, the lag that you're seeing isn't anything unnormal. It's something that'll happen on any PC, no matter how big and bad you build it. You can copy and paste all these attributes into it, and I don't know if it shows up. Nope, sure doesn't. But there's a lot of parts in this thing I just grabbed. Yeah, 2047. That's how much I've been copying and pasting here. And that's all in this group up here. Per each time I pasted it, was over 2,000 pieces, both big and small, and it's still running pretty smoothly. The smoothest comes with AutoCAD, the LTE, the 2015, however you want to put it, the basic AutoCAD software. I'll delete that. Anyway, it seems to run smooth. Yeah, 19,000 pieces is what I had in there. It's still running pretty smooth. Hatch still doesn't work all that great. I mean, it works, but not great. PDFs, they work also, but again, not great. That's typical AutoCAD flaws, though. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Every now and again, I'll run some high-resolution video on one monitor and run CAD on the other, just to run a test and just to show you where in fact it maxes out at. And that's what I'm going to do for you now. Okay, so on this monitor I have my video. It's high resolution. Had my Galaxy S5 up as high as it could go to test it. Oh wait, and this is just for the testing of the surface, because I did want to see what all it could do, kind of deal. So I'm going to run this in the background while I'm also running CAD. That way I'm testing both the graphics and the processor in general. As you can see, there's not a whole lot, if any, lag. It's just the fact that I'm not a very stable camera holder. I can come back over here and start zooming in and out. Also, running a little bit of graphics, nothing rendering. It's nothing too hard on it or anything. I'm just going to do a little bit more copy and pasting, so it has a few more attributes that it has to work with. Not much manipulating, but one thing, if you are running CAD, that I suggest is getting one of these mice with like 10 different buttons on it that are programmable. It is probably the best investment I've ever made. It increases efficiency by so much. It's incredible. That is my biggest deal. And if you look down here at the processor stuff, you can see that as I'm playing with it, I am definitely getting into some more features of it, some more of reaching towards maximums, but it's nothing ridiculous. Nothing that it's not, the Intel and Windows didn't expect to happen as they were designing this and giving updates for it. The Intel Extreme Tuning utility is so that you can tune the whatever Intel processor you're using on its own, but I don't find any use for it, as I think Windows has done a pretty good job so far. Every score that I've gotten with it has just been around where Windows does, so I just use the stock Windows, even though I have played around with and tested to see what I could do by playing around and changing stuff. But there just wasn't anything significant to do any changes from what Windows had set stock when I bought this. Granted, that was sometime probably close to a year after the Surface Pro 3 originally came out, so they did have plenty of time to do modifications on their own. Going back to the video, you can see that since I have AutoCAD open on top, it's getting all the excess processing power, what's available. You can see my properties on top over here is how you can really tell. And there is some lag that's noticeable. when I start manipulating CAD drawing. Not much without it, though. It's just really impressive. Yeah, there's not much more than that. Can't really think anything else. Surface Pro 3 seems to be great.